When we talk about reheating food, most people think it is a normal and safe practice, yet medical experts and nutrition scientists have repeatedly warned that some foods, when reheated, can create hidden cancer-causing compounds that slowly build harm in the body. The danger does not lie in the food itself when it is freshly cooked, but in the chemical changes that occur after it has been cooked, cooled, and then heated again. For example, rice, potatoes, and even green leafy vegetables like spinach have natural compounds that, under the wrong conditions, can turn into harmful substances when reheated. In rice, a bacterium called Bacillus cereus can survive the initial cooking and later multiply if the rice is left out before reheating. When reheated, the bacteria release toxins that cannot be destroyed by heat and can cause serious illness. This contamination itself may not directly be labeled as cancer-causing, but chronic exposure to bacterial toxins can weaken immunity, damage cells, and open the door to carcinogenic effects over time. Similarly, potatoes are rich in starch. When they are cooked and then cooled improperly before reheating, they may develop conditions for bacteria to grow, and reheating them does not fully restore safety. More concerning is the formation of harmful compounds when starch-rich foods are reheated repeatedly. Acrylamide, a known carcinogen, can be produced in certain starchy foods when exposed to high heat. While people often think only fried or baked foods produce acrylamide, research has shown that repeated cooking and heating cycles also increase its presence. This compound, when consumed over years, has been linked to DNA damage and increased cancer risk in organs such as the colon, kidneys, and even the brain. Green leafy vegetables like spinach, celery, and beets are often celebrated for their health benefits because they contain nitrates that naturally improve blood flow and reduce blood pressure. However, the story changes when these nitrate-rich vegetables are reheated. Heat can convert the nitrates into nitrosamines, which are established carcinogenic compounds. Nitrosamines interfere with normal cell growth, cause mutations, and increase the long-term risk of cancers such as stomach and esophageal cancer. What makes this risk more alarming is that people assume vegetables are always safe and good for health, and many parents even reheat spinach-based baby food without realizing they might be giving their child exposure to these harmful compounds. Doctors specifically caution that infants and children are more sensitive to nitrate to nitrosamine conversions, which not only create cancer risks later in life but can also impair oxygen transport in the blood, leading to a dangerous condition known as blue baby syndrome. Another hidden aspect of reheating food is the change in proteins. When animal proteins, like those in chicken or eggs, are reheated, their structure can alter in ways that generate advanced glycation end products AGEs. These AGEs are inflammatory and carcinogenic in nature. They not only contribute to oxidative stress in cells but also create cumulative damage in tissues that the body cannot easily repair. The presence of AGEs has been directly associated with cancers, premature aging, and dementia. While most people do not connect reheated meals with such serious conditions, the link lies in daily, repeated exposure to altered compounds that slowly overwhelm the body's defenses. Furthermore, experts emphasize that food safety is not only about pathogens or spoiled taste but also about chemical transformations at the microscopic level. When food is stored and reheated improperly, the fats inside may oxidize. Oxidized fats release free radicals, which attack healthy cells, damage DNA, and promote uncontrolled cell growth. This oxidative damage is one of the primary ways cancer begins in the body. Imagine eating reheated leftovers daily without knowing that with each meal, the number of free radicals and harmful chemicals increases inside you. Over months and years, this exposure becomes a silent killer. Doctors warn that the risks are not immediate like food poisoning, which shows symptoms within hours, but long-term like cancer, dementia, and neurodegenerative diseases that appear after decades of damage. For instance, nitrosamines and acrylamides not only attack digestive cells but also cross into the bloodstream and accumulate in organs like the liver and brain. The brain is especially vulnerable because once damaged by toxins, its cells do not regenerate. Studies have shown links between long-term exposure to these reheated food compounds and cognitive decline, memory loss, and dementia. The connection may seem invisible in the short term, but it reveals itself cruelly in old age. The cultural habit of reheating food comes from convenience, saving time, and reducing waste. Families worldwide often prepare meals in bulk and then reheat them later. While this practice may save effort, the hidden danger is that these meals are no longer the same food they were when freshly cooked. Nutrients degrade, proteins mutate, starches alter, and toxins develop. Modern life may encourage reheating, but health experts strongly suggest that avoiding reheating specific risky foods is a small step that can drastically reduce the burden of diseases linked to lifestyle and diet. A strong example can be seen in populations that rely heavily on freshly prepared meals compared to those who depend on reheated leftovers. Epidemiological studies show lower rates of stomach and colon cancers in communities where food is consumed fresh. While genetics and environment also play roles, diet is a major factor. In contrast, processed food and reheated meals contribute to higher risks. Doctors argue that prevention does not always come from expensive treatments or supplements but from mindful choices about daily habits, including how we handle cooked food. Ultimately, the hidden cancer-causing compounds in reheated foods are not about a single exposure but about accumulation. Every time reheated rice or potatoes are consumed, every time spinach or chicken is reheated, a small amount of harmful compounds may be introduced into the body. The immune system may fight back initially, but as exposure continues, cellular defense weakens, DNA damage accumulates, and cancer risk grows. For dementia and neurodegenerative diseases, the process is equally slow but devastating. By the time symptoms show, decades of damage have already taken place. This is why doctors emphasize prevention now rather than cure later. When we look at the process of cooking food, it is meant to transform raw ingredients into safe and nutritious meals. Cooking breaks down certain compounds, destroys bacteria, and makes nutrients more bioavailable. However, when food is reheated after being cooled and stored, the situation changes. Reheating does not simply warm food. It alters the molecular structure of proteins and nutrients in ways that can harm the body, particularly digestion and brain health. Doctors warn that these structural changes are not just minor losses in taste or freshness but can produce harmful substances and reduce the quality of nutrients, setting the stage for long-term health problems. Proteins are among the most sensitive compounds in food when exposed to heat multiple times. In their natural form, proteins are chains of amino acids folded into specific shapes that determine how the body digests and uses them. When food like chicken, fish, or eggs is cooked once, proteins unfold and become easier to digest. But when they are reheated, especially at high temperatures, the proteins undergo further denaturation and cross-linking. This means the structure becomes distorted in ways the digestive system struggles to break down efficiently. Instead of supplying healthy amino acids for tissue repair and hormone regulation, reheated proteins can create byproducts that irritate the gut, cause indigestion, and increase the risk of harmful compounds accumulating in the body. Over time, these altered proteins may contribute to inflammation, which scientists recognize as a leading pathway toward cancer, diabetes, and neurodegenerative conditions like dementia. Nutrients also lose their natural effectiveness when food is reheated. Vitamins such as vitamin C, folate, and certain B vitamins are extremely sensitive to heat. The first cooking already reduces some portion of these vitamins, but reheating can destroy even more. For instance, leafy vegetables like spinach, which are rich in folate and antioxidants, become depleted of their protective nutrients after reheating. Worse, some of the remaining compounds transform into harmful forms, as in the case of nitrates turning into nitrosamines. This is a double loss. The body is deprived of the beneficial nutrient while simultaneously being exposed to a dangerous substance. Brain health is especially affected by the reheating of nutrient-rich foods. The brain depends heavily on certain amino acids, fatty acids, and vitamins to maintain neurotransmitter balance and prevent oxidative stress. When reheating alters proteins and oxidizes fats, harmful molecules such as advanced glycation end products, AGEs, and lipid peroxides are formed. These molecules travel through the bloodstream, cross into the brain, and damage neurons. The brain's defense mechanisms are not strong enough to continuously repair such oxidative injuries, which makes it vulnerable to conditions like memory decline, Alzheimer's disease, and dementia. Over the years, cumulative damage from reheated foods accelerates brain aging and reduces cognitive sharpness. A clear example can be seen with reheated chicken. Chicken is a high-protein food that is generally very nutritious when freshly cooked. But when reheated, its protein structure changes significantly, creating compounds that are harder for the stomach to digest. This not only causes digestive discomfort but also forces the body to deal with an influx of altered molecules. Some of these molecules can irritate the gut lining, disturb the microbiome balance, and trigger chronic inflammation. Since the gut and brain are closely connected through the gut-brain axis, poor digestion and inflammation directly affect mental health, mood, and cognitive performance. This explains why doctors emphasize eating freshly prepared chicken rather than reheated portions. Eggs are another case. When freshly cooked, they provide high-quality proteins, essential fatty acids, and antioxidants like lutein and zeaxanthin, which protect the eyes and brain. But when reheated, eggs not only lose much of their nutrient content but also produce compounds that may become toxic in large amounts. These altered proteins and oxidized fats burden the liver and the nervous system, gradually increasing the risk of degenerative diseases. The nutritional value that eggs are known for is essentially destroyed when they are subjected to multiple heating cycles. The body reacts differently to freshly cooked food versus reheated meals. Fresh food offers bioavailable nutrients that support metabolism, repair tissues, and boost immunity. In contrast, reheated foods often provide degraded nutrients and harmful byproducts that the body must detoxify. This constant detoxification strains the liver and kidneys. At the same time, the absence of intact vitamins and minerals weakens the immune system's ability to fight disease. Over years, this imbalance can leave the body vulnerable not only to infections but also to cancers, since damaged cells are not repaired properly and harmful molecules go unchecked. Brain function requires a delicate balance of nutrients such as omega-3 fatty acids, B vitamins, and antioxidants. When reheating breaks these nutrients down, the brain is deprived of essential building blocks for neurotransmitters like serotonin, dopamine, and acetylcholine. This leads to subtle but progressive effects: mood swings, lack of concentration, forgetfulness, and eventually cognitive decline. Researchers studying dietary habits and dementia have noted that populations with high reliance on reheated or processed foods show greater risks of mental deterioration compared to those who eat freshly prepared meals. Another concern is the effect of reheated oils and fats. When meals containing oils are reheated, the fats oxidize, releasing free radicals. These free radicals are highly reactive molecules that attack healthy cells and disrupt DNA. The digestive system absorbs these damaged fats, which then circulate in the blood and contribute to clogged arteries, heart disease, and brain damage. In fact, oxidative stress from reheated fats is one of the strongest dietary links to dementia and Alzheimer's disease. It not only kills neurons but also promotes plaque buildup in brain tissue. It is also important to note that reheating food does not always kill harmful bacteria if the food has been improperly stored. In such cases, the combination of bacterial toxins and altered nutrients becomes a double threat. The gut is bombarded with irritants, the immune system is weakened, and the nervous system is strained by toxic byproducts. Even if one meal may not cause obvious symptoms, the slow accumulation over years lays the foundation for serious chronic illnesses. From a preventive perspective, the message is clear. Cooking food fresh allows the body to receive the full benefit of proteins, vitamins, and healthy fats. Reheating, on the other hand, undermines nutrition and introduces harmful compounds. Doctors encourage limiting reheating, especially for high-protein foods, leafy vegetables, and oily dishes. Instead, they suggest cooking smaller portions that can be consumed at once or using safer reheating methods that avoid high temperatures. For example, gentle steaming may be less harmful than microwaving or frying reheated foods. Ultimately, the alteration of proteins and nutrients through reheating is a silent but significant threat to health. The digestive system struggles with unnatural protein structures, the brain suffers from nutrient loss and oxidative stress, and the entire body carries the burden of detoxifying harmful byproducts. These effects may not be visible immediately, but over decades, they manifest as cancer, dementia, and a range of serious illnesses that shorten life and reduce its quality. Protecting health, therefore, starts not just with what we eat but with how we handle our food after it is cooked. Certain vegetables are often considered the healthiest foods on our plates, but under specific conditions they can turn into hidden dangers. When consumed fresh or lightly cooked, vegetables like spinach, celery, beetroot, and lettuce provide essential vitamins, minerals, and antioxidants that protect the body from disease. However, doctors warn that reheating these vegetables changes their natural chemistry, leading to the release of dangerous toxins. The problem lies mainly in their nitrate content. Nitrates themselves are not harmful and in fact can be beneficial when converted into nitric oxide in the body, improving blood flow and lowering blood pressure. But when these nitrate-rich vegetables are cooked, cooled, and then heated again, the nitrates can transform into nitrites and further into nitrosamines. Nitrosamines are well-documented carcinogens that have been linked to stomach cancer, esophageal cancer, and even bladder cancer. This silent chemical transformation is what makes reheating certain vegetables far riskier than people realize. Spinach is a good example. Fresh spinach is rich in iron, folate, vitamin C, and antioxidants. It is praised for boosting immunity, supporting red blood cell formation, and protecting the body from oxidative stress. Yet when spinach is cooked and reheated, its high nitrate content undergoes dangerous changes. Nitrosamines formed during reheating can attack the stomach lining, weaken DNA stability, and encourage mutations that pave the way for cancer. This is why many nutritionists caution against preparing spinach dishes in advance and reheating them later, especially for children and the elderly whose systems are more vulnerable. Celery is another common culprit. It contains valuable vitamins and minerals along with high nitrate levels. Many people use celery in soups, stews, or broths, and reheating these dishes repeatedly can lead to an accumulation of nitrosamines. What makes the problem more concerning is that soups or broths are often stored and reheated multiple times, giving the harmful compounds more chances to form. While eating freshly cooked celery in a soup is safe, Reheating it the next day may quietly introduce toxins into the body without any noticeable change in taste or smell. Over years, this repeated exposure increases cancer risk significantly. Beetroot, known for its ability to improve blood flow and stamina due to its nitrate content, is also risky when reheated. Fresh beetroot juice is considered a superfood for athletes and heart patients, but once cooked and left for later reheating, the nitrates can again transform into harmful nitrosamines. Instead of protecting heart health, reheated beetroot dishes may silently harm the body by damaging blood vessels, weakening the immune system, and raising the risk of cancer. This paradox, where a food is both a healer and a potential poison depending on how it is handled, shows the importance of understanding the hidden dangers of reheating vegetables. The danger is not limited to cancer. Doctors also link reheated vegetables with risks to infants and young children. When babies consume nitrate-rich purees such as spinach or carrot that have been reheated, the nitrates can convert into nitrites in their tiny bodies. Nitrites interfere with hemoglobin's ability to carry oxygen, leading to a condition called methemoglobinemia or blue baby syndrome. This is a medical emergency and can be life-threatening. Parents often prepare baby food in advance for convenience, but reheating vegetable purees can unknowingly put their child at risk. Pediatric experts strongly advise against reheating nitrate-rich vegetables for infants, urging parents to prepare fresh meals instead. Another hidden issue is that reheating vegetables reduces their nutritional value while simultaneously increasing their toxicity. For example, vitamin C and folate in leafy greens degrade significantly upon reheating. This means that the body is not only deprived of antioxidants but is also exposed to harmful nitrosamines at the same time. The protective shield of vitamins is gone, and what remains is a meal that may contribute more to long-term illness than to health. Over time, this imbalance leads to oxidative stress, DNA mutations, and weakened immunity, all conditions that encourage the development of chronic diseases like cancer and dementia. Oxidative stress is a key link between reheated vegetables and serious health risks. Nitrosamines and other toxins formed during reheating increase free radical activity inside the body. Free radicals are unstable molecules that attack healthy cells, damage proteins, and alter DNA. The body has natural antioxidant defenses to fight free radicals, but when these defenses are weakened due to nutrient loss in reheated food, the harmful molecules accumulate unchecked. The result is chronic inflammation, a root cause of many degenerative diseases including cancer, heart disease, and neurodegenerative conditions like Alzheimer's. This explains why doctors warn that eating reheated vegetables over the years silently contributes to aging-related illnesses. Another factor is the effect of these toxins on digestion. The gastrointestinal tract is the first to encounter harmful compounds from reheated vegetables. Nitrosamines and oxidized compounds irritate the gut lining, leading to chronic gastritis and increased acid production. They also disturb the gut microbiome, reducing the population of beneficial bacteria that normally protect the digestive system. A disturbed microbiome not only causes digestive discomfort but also increases the risk of colon cancer. Research shows that people with unhealthy gut flora are more prone to both digestive and mental health disorders, highlighting again the gut-brain connection. The neurological effects of reheated vegetables are particularly worrying. Nitrosamines can cross the blood-brain barrier, where they trigger inflammation and oxidative stress in neurons. Over time, this damages brain cells and impairs cognitive functions such as memory, focus, and learning. Scientists studying Alzheimer's disease have found links between dietary nitrosamines and the formation of amyloid plaques in the brain. These plaques disrupt communication between neurons and are a defining characteristic of dementia. Although one reheated meal will not cause such damage, consistent exposure over years contributes to cognitive decline in old age. The cultural habit of storing and reheating vegetable dishes stems from modern lifestyles. People cook in bulk to save time, often unaware that their efforts to be efficient may come at a hidden health cost. Leftover spinach curry, celery soup, or beetroot stew may taste just as good the next day, but chemically, the food is no longer the same. It carries with it compounds that were not present in the fresh meal, compounds that slowly but steadily weaken the body. While many families consider leftovers a sign of convenience, science shows that certain leftovers, especially vegetable-based ones, should be avoided for the sake of long-term health. From a prevention standpoint, the solution is straightforward. Doctors advise preparing small portions of nitrate-rich vegetables and consuming them fresh. If leftovers cannot be avoided, they should not be reheated but rather eaten cold if safe to do so, such as in a salad. For soups and stews containing vegetables like celery, reheating should be minimized, and storage should be limited to no more than a single day under refrigeration. For infants, vegetable purees should always be freshly prepared and never stored for reheating. Such small adjustments in daily cooking habits can make a significant difference in reducing cancer risk and protecting overall health. Ultimately, the danger of reheated vegetables lies in the silent transformation of natural nitrates into carcinogenic nitrosamines. These compounds weaken immunity, damage DNA, accelerate aging, and raise the risk of both cancer and dementia. The tragedy is that vegetables are meant to heal, but careless reheating turns them into a source of harm. By understanding these hidden risks and making mindful choices in how we cook and consume vegetables, we can safeguard our health and ensure that the very foods meant to protect us do not become the ones that destroy us. Food safety is often thought of in terms of avoiding spoiled or undercooked meals, but reheating food carries hidden dangers that extend beyond simple stomach upset. Doctors emphasize that mistakes in reheating food are not only short-term threats like food poisoning but also long-term contributors to serious illnesses such as dementia, cancer, and other degenerative conditions. The risks come from two main issues: the way bacteria behave in previously cooked food and the way chemical compounds change when food is heated multiple times. Both of these processes create harmful effects that may not show immediately but accumulate over years, slowly undermining health. One of the biggest mistakes people make is leaving cooked food out at room temperature for long periods before storing it. This creates an environment where bacteria can thrive, especially in starchy foods like rice or potatoes. Bacillus cereus, a bacteria commonly found in rice, can survive the cooking process and multiply rapidly if rice is left out. Reheating the rice later does not eliminate the toxins the bacteria produced, meaning the food may look, smell, and taste fine but still be harmful. Repeated exposure to bacterial toxins stresses the digestive and immune systems, gradually increasing the risk of chronic inflammation, which is one of the underlying causes of cancer and dementia. The danger is not one plate of reheated rice but the slow and silent buildup of damage from years of unsafe food handling practices. Another mistake is reheating food more than once. Many households reheat leftover meals several times, not realizing that each cycle of cooling and reheating allows more harmful changes to occur. Proteins degrade further, fats oxidize, and vitamins break down into unstable byproducts. These changes increase the formation of compounds such as advanced glycation end products, AGEs, and lipid peroxides, which are toxic to cells. AGEs in particular are known to promote oxidative stress, disrupt brain function, and accelerate aging. Studies show that long-term consumption of foods rich in AGEs correlates with higher risks of Alzheimer's disease and other forms of dementia. The tragedy is that many families repeat this cycle daily without recognizing the cumulative damage being done. Storing food improperly before reheating also contributes to long-term illness. If leftovers are not cooled quickly and refrigerated within 2 hours, bacteria multiply to dangerous levels. Even if reheating kills most of the bacteria, the toxins they leave behind remain active and harmful. These toxins burden the liver, kidneys, and immune system, organs that are responsible for cleansing the body and maintaining balance. When constantly overloaded, these organs lose efficiency, allowing harmful substances to linger in the blood. Over time, the toxins reach the brain and other sensitive organs, contributing to degenerative diseases. Dementia, for example, is linked not only to genetics and age but also to lifestyle factors like chronic toxin exposure from food. Vegetables add another layer of risk when reheated improperly. Nitrate-rich vegetables such as spinach, celery, and beets can transform into nitrosamines after reheating. Nitrosamines are carcinogens that damage DNA and increase the risk of stomach and intestinal cancers. Parents who reheat vegetable purees for children unknowingly expose them to these toxins, which can also cause blue baby syndrome in infants by interfering with oxygen transport in the blood. For adults, the repeated habit of eating reheated vegetables may not cause immediate sickness but adds to the long-term risk of cancer and neurological damage. Such risks could easily be avoided by preparing smaller portions fresh each day instead of cooking in bulk and reheating. Another mistake is reheating food at extremely high temperatures, particularly in frying pans or microwaves. High heat accelerates the breakdown of proteins and fats, creating free radicals that attack healthy cells. When free radicals accumulate in the body, they cause oxidative stress, which is a central mechanism behind aging, cancer, and brain disorders. Oxidative stress damages neurons in the brain, leading to cognitive decline and memory loss. This is one of the reasons why diets rich in fresh food are associated with sharper mental performance, while heavy reliance on reheated or processed food correlates with higher rates of dementia. In addition to the chemical dangers, reheating also strips food of its protective nutrients. Antioxidants like vitamin C, vitamin E, and folate are highly sensitive to heat and degrade quickly during reheating. These antioxidants are the body's natural defense against free radicals, and without them, cells are more vulnerable to damage. Over time, the lack of antioxidants coupled with the presence of toxins creates a perfect storm for chronic illnesses. Cancer cells thrive in environments with high oxidative stress and low antioxidant defenses, and reheated food contributes directly to this imbalance. The gut, often called the second brain, is also heavily affected by reheating mistakes. Bacterial toxins, oxidized fats, and altered proteins irritate the gut lining, disturb the microbiome, and cause chronic inflammation. The microbiome plays a vital role in mental health, immune strength, and digestion. When it is disrupted by years of unhealthy food handling practices, the entire body suffers. Researchers have found strong links between gut inflammation and brain disorders such as depression, anxiety, and dementia. Thus, the act of reheating food incorrectly does not just affect digestion but ripples outward to mental and neurological health. The social habit of relying on leftovers has become deeply ingrained due to busy lifestyles, but modern convenience often comes at the cost of long-term health. Many families see reheating as a way to save time and money, but they rarely consider the hidden consequences. The real cost is not measured in daily savings but in the increased risk of illnesses later in life. Hospitals worldwide see rising cases of cancer, dementia, and metabolic diseases, many of which are influenced by dietary habits. Food that is mishandled, stored improperly, and reheated repeatedly contributes silently to this global health burden. Prevention is not complicated. Doctors recommend simple steps. Prepare smaller portions so food is eaten fresh, refrigerate leftovers promptly, reheat only once, and avoid high temperatures when reheating. For vegetables, consume them fresh or cold rather than reheating. For starchy foods like rice and potatoes, ensure they are cooled and stored quickly and reheated thoroughly if needed, but not multiple times. For proteins like chicken and eggs, eat them fresh whenever possible, as reheating alters their nutritional structure the most. These small adjustments significantly reduce the risk of long-term diseases linked to reheated food. In the bigger picture, food safety mistakes in reheating highlight the connection between daily habits and chronic disease. Dementia and cancer are not random conditions that strike without warning. They are often the result of decades of exposure to harmful compounds, oxidative stress, and poor nutritional practices. By avoiding repeated reheating, we protect the integrity of our food, preserve its nutrients, and shield our bodies from toxins that otherwise accumulate silently. Health is built day by day, meal by meal, and even something as ordinary as reheating leftovers plays a role in shaping our future.